Welcome to the Robbins Regional Wrap, your one-stop shop for all your Houston County news. I'm Megan Western. Each week we're taking you through what's happening in Houston County, Warner Robins, Robins Air Force Base, and your very own neighborhood. And this week, a Warner Robins man who fired shots at a group of young women will serve 10 years in prison and is banished from Houston County. District Attorney Eric Edwards says 21-year-old Jalen Smith pleaded guilty to aggravated assault along with drug and gun charges. Now, this happened in 2024 on Terry K. Circle. DA Edwards says Smith shot at the girls because they'd been fighting with a friend of his. At that time of that shooting, Edwards says Smith was already on probation for previous drug and gun charges, but now that probation's been revoked. And we're learning about a bizarre case in Warner Robins where a man kidnapped a 5-year-old from a school bus stop, this also in 2024. A judge sentenced 63-year-old Richard King to 25 years in prison. District Attorney Eric Edwards is crediting 2 Good Samaritans for bringing him to justice and getting that child home safely. Olivia Dunn shares more.
This is truly just an absolutely bizarre case.
District Attorney Eric Edwards says it all started here, outside the Lake Vista Apartments in Warner Robins. That's where prosecutors say now 63-year-old Richard King kidnapped that 5-year-old boy after he got off his school bus.
The Lord only knows what the ultimate goal or plan of Mr. King was here. I honestly have no idea, but there was a child abducted.
King took the boy to this McDonald's on Watson Boulevard, less than 3 miles from where he grabbed him. That's when the manager of the restaurant and a customer stepped in.
I realized that this seemed like a strange situation. It didn't seem like this young child knew this man he was at McDonald's with, so their flags went up.
They called Warner Robins police, who responded and arrested King for kidnapping. Edwards says the man had no relation to the boy and adds that cases of random abductions like this are extremely rare.
They almost never happen, especially here in Houston County. I mean, I can count on, I believe, one hand the number of cases truly like this that I've seen in our community in the time that I've been a prosecutor.
The boy was not hurt, and the arrest happened about an hour after he was kidnapped. A happy end brought on by 2 people stepping up when things didn't look right.
I'm always proud of our law enforcement. Today with this case, I'm so proud of the people we have living in this community who chose to do the right thing. I know that we're blessed to have so many of those people across Houston County.
Now, as part of King's sentence, he'll spend the rest of his life on probation after he gets out of prison. Plus, all week long, we've been following the murder trial of a Houston County woman accused of killing her 2-year-old son. That trial opened with 2 very different accounts of what happened to baby Carter Ambrose. Carmen Brown shares the opening statements.
Inside the courtroom Monday, the state and defense laid out 2 very different versions of what happened to Carter Ambrose in a case that they say is built on circumstantial evidence.
Prosecutors began the case by focusing on November 17, 2020. The day they say 2-year-old Carter Ambrose was brought into a pediatrician's office unconscious. Staff tried CPR, but it was too late. They told jurors an autopsy found Carter died from blunt force injuries, including damage to his liver. Prosecutors say those injuries happened sometime within the 3 days before his death. And in those final days, the state says Carter was just with 2 people, his mother, Kiana Davis, and her then boyfriend, Keon Benton.
The defendant had Carter by herself until Sunday evening when her new boyfriend, Keon, arrived. It wasn't until he went lifeless that anybody did anything to get that little boy any help at all.
Meanwhile, the defense sees a case full of holes. Attorney Jeffrey Grube told jurors that there's no video and no DNA to fill that gap. He also raised concerns about the timeline, pointing out that it took nearly a year for the autopsy to be completed and almost 3 years before Davis was charged.
There's not any direct testimony, or there's not going to be any direct evidence that this lady or anyone struck the blows that ended up killing the child.
And right now, Davis faces 7 charges, including malice murder. Testimony is expected to resume Tuesday morning. Reporting in Houston County, Carmen Brown, 13 WMAZ News.
Now, 2 days into the trial, Davis herself took the stand. During questioning, she shared that Carter had several medical conditions, including breathing trouble, which she says she never neglected. She even shared leading up to his death, she and her ex-boyfriend, Keon Benton, did nothing wrong.
You say Keon would never do anything like that.
That is correct.
But you deny having done anything.
That is correct.
So who would have done it if the only two people were he and you?
That is a good question.
So we just don't know.
We don't.
Davis faces 7 charges, including malice murder, felony murder, cruelty to children, and aggravated assault. Prosecutors argue she caused the child's death, pointing to injuries they say were not accidental. They also say she didn't take the child to the doctor when he complained of stomach pain. Davis, however, maintained her innocence. She said she doesn't know what happened to her son, and she didn't see any bruises or serious injuries.
Negligence caused cruel and excessive physical pain to Carter. He has a lacerated liver and has been sick all weekend, and nobody gets him medical attention.
All these instances of her taking the child to the doctor. And the state wants to come here and say that she's wanton and willfully disregarded the life of her child. That doesn't make any sense, folks.
Now, Keon Benton also faces charges and will be tried separately. For the latest information on the verdict, go ahead and head over to 13WMAZ.com. Meanwhile, if you get a text from someone claiming to be a government agency or law enforcement, you might start to get suspicious. But soon, Houston County State Court will be able to text you about court dates right from the courthouse. Elizabeth Hunter talked with the state court solicitor to find out how it works and what it'll mean for you.
The next time your phone buzzes, it could be from the Houston County Courthouse.
This is a system entirely designed about just helping provide notice when somebody is scheduled to come to court.
State Court Solicitor Ryan English says it's a new feature in the benchmark system that lets the state court text people with traffic citations.
An officer writes you a ticket, and then you give them your cell phone number, and when that traffic citation gets entered into the benchmark system, benchmark will send out notifications related to your court dates.
The benchmark case management system lets the court track, organize, and manage cases. English says Houston County started using the electronic filing system over a year ago. He says Houston County commissioners voted to add the texting option just last week. The system costs over $5,000 to implement and run for 5 years. He says they worked for a year to get this approved.
Making it as easy as possible for people to remember, hey, I've got something coming up that I don't need to miss. I am all in favor and all for using technology to improve people's lives that way.
English says he wants to make it clear that the messages will never have a website or payment link. Anything that does is a scam.
It is purely a notification system only. It is just to say, hey, you've got this court date coming up. Just make sure you don't miss court.
English says if you're ever unsure, call the state clerk's office to confirm. In Houston County, Elizabeth Hunter, 13WMAZ News.
Another way you can check to see if you're being scammed is to go to the Better Business Bureau website to see if any reported scams look similar to the message that you received. English says it'll be a few months before the system is fully up and running. Plus, in less than 6 months, first responders statewide will have to complete autism training. It's part of Rio's law that goes into effect January 1st. Amanda Allen takes you inside the Houston County Sheriff's Office, where the department is behind the state's new autism training.
Captain Veronica Edens has taught autism training classes for Houston County officers for over a decade.
The autism class focused on characteristics of autistic individuals. It also spoke about how we can de-escalate those characteristics.
And the class hits closer to home for Edens and her 26-year-old son.
When he turned right at 3 is when we found out that he was autistic.
This year, with the help of Sergeant Jamie Mullis, Edens created a new course on autism, required for all first responders statewide, starting January 1st. It's a part of Rio's law, passed by the Georgia Assembly this spring. It also creates a license plate that shows officers that someone with autism is in the vehicle.
We opened it up even bigger and made it more so about the characteristics, of course, but also about Logan's Law.
In 2023, Georgia also passed Logan's Law, intended to help people with autism and other disabilities. That lets families share a person's triggers with law enforcement to help officers during interaction.
The information is likes, dislikes, so that we can make sure the first responders know what to respond like.
Officers say everything from what they're wearing on their uniform to their tone of voice, or if they leave their lights and siren on when conducting a traffic stop, could be a trigger.
And to help calm down those with autism, all Houston County officers now have sensory bags in their cars. Sheriff Matt Moulton says the training will make a difference.
In the past, I don't know that I was properly trained to deal with someone like that.
Edens is optimistic, not just as a teacher, but as a parent.
We want to help those that can't help themselves and be there for the family. That's the biggest thing for us.
In Warner Robins, Amanda Allen, 13 WMAZ News.
The Sheriff's Department is also hoping to partner with the Georgia Public Safety Training Center to teach these courses and reach more officers statewide. Rio's Law also allows you to get a custom license plate that alerts officers that someone in the car is autistic. This is what it looks like right here on your screen. In order to get one, you'll need a signed document from a doctor verifying the diagnosis, and then you can request it at your local tag office. And growth in Houston County is something that we continue to follow, including all those growing pains. As we told you this spring, Perry City leaders approved plans for more than 2,000 homes within the last 5 years. Now, hundreds of new homes could be in line on Langston Road. Elizabeth Hunter talked to neighbors who say the growth is just raising concerns about a road that's already stretched thin.
What is now an empty field could soon turn into almost 300 homes. A proposal has been submitted to the city of Perry for 276 single-family homes to go on this land.
There's no resources. It's like build it and we'll figure it out later, but you need to figure it out now and build later.
Dee Allison moved to Langston Road more than 20 years ago. She says the area looked very different then.
When we first moved here, you know, it's mainly rural. Everybody's got anywhere from 1 acre to 50 acres out here, and it was very quiet.
But she says that quickly changed.
Lots of birds, lots of wildlife, lots of deer, fox, which we don't see very much of anymore except for when they're hit on the side of the road.
Allison says she sees traffic every day.
It's getting to the point where, especially when school starts, we can hardly get out of our own driveway. I mean, I have to wait 20 minutes to even pull out on my own road.
I talked to Interim Community Development Director Holly Wharton in June about the plans. She said they are working with Houston County to widen Langston Road to 4 lanes. But Allison says traffic only makes up part of her concern. She says the area can't support more homes.
We don't have enough resources with emergency situations. The emergency time is down. The hospitals are overflowed. The doctor's offices are overflowing.
Wharton says the project still has to be approved by Perry's Planning and Zoning Commission. In Perry, Elizabeth Hunter, 13 WMAZ News.
Now, Planning and Zoning Commission still needs to vote on that project. And public utilities also feel the strain when an area sees big growth. But the city of Perry is working to keep current residents from paying the cost for that growth. The city decided not to increase water rates for the next year. Amanda Allen explains how one business owner says he's still bothered by the bill.
This is Jeff Moss. He owns a feed and tax store in Perry.
Lived here all my life. Had a store here for 10 years.
And while he's reining in money from his merchandise, he's paying attention to his monthly water costs.
It continues to go up, and I'm not happy with it.
Last year, the water use rate increased by 7%. But this year, city leaders decided not to increase that at all.
The decision was made to strategically utilize some cash reserves to cover those cost increases. So that's how that was possible for our citizens and businesses this year.
But for Moss, the rate is not the problem. It's the extra fees on his water bill.
Our water consumption here is about $11, and my total water bill is $476.
The stormwater fee is one that adds to that total cost. It runs Moss around $95 a month.
Maybe 7 years ago, started somewhere in that neighborhood, and then it went up like 5 years ago, and then went up again 3 years ago, and it just continues to go up.
According to the city, the stormwater fee for businesses is charged based on their total square footage. Moss says while the bit of rate savings this year will help, he still wishes he was paying less overall.
And Moss says while they may not consume a lot of water here, it still plays a crucial role in keeping the boots of his business on the ground.
Dealing with garments and feed and everything, we keep our hands washed, keep clean. We don't want to get anything dirty, so we have to have water.
Moss understands the city is galloping in growth, which means higher costs.
That shouldn't be the fault of the current residents. It's just more money out of our pockets.
In Perry, Amanda Allen, 13 WMAZ News.
Some new changes are taking flight at the Perry-Houston County Airport. Houston County commissioners approved a nearly $500,000 loan to help finish a new hangar. And as Elizabeth Hunter explains, the airport needs the extra hangar to keep up with the demand of businesses and travelers.
building behind us will house 14 aircraft, which will add significantly to the number of aircraft on the airfield.
The Perry Houston County Airport is home field for 82 planes. Airport manager James Marquardt says the newest hangar will take the airfield to another level.
It gets real close to 100 aircraft, and that's significant because once you go over 100 aircraft, you're in a little bit of different funding category with the FAA.
Marquardt says the hangar has been in the works for 3 years.
I've got a hangar waiting list. It's got 16 people on it. We're building 14 hangars. Obviously, it won't take me any time to fill it at all. It'll fill immediately.
Every flight that leaves this runway plays a part in the $20 million this airport contributes to the local economy.
That's through fuel taxes, that's through ad valorem taxes, that's through fuel sales, that's through people using hotels and rental cars.
Marquardt says corporations like Frito-Lay, Purdue Farms, Bluebird, and Jack Links use the airport. He says travelers make it a stop too.
During peak season, we get a lot of people coming in here, obviously going to the peach orchards. Believe it or not, we get a lot of people flying in here go to Buc-ee's.
Chairman Dan Perdue said the hangar will help the airport serve corporations that boost the county's economy. We're also told they plan to have the hangar done by the end of August. And still ahead, Georgia Military College is closing its Warner Robins campus. Find out how students will be impacted after the break. Serving students in Houston County, Georgia Military College is shutting down its Warner Robins satellite campus. Elizabeth Hunter talked to college officials about why they made this decision and how it impacts you.
Doors locked and an empty parking lot.
People are like, gosh, I can't believe that 10 years ago, 15 years ago, there were 1,000 students who couldn't get in the parking lot. So for folks that have been around GMC for a long time, it probably feels like the end of a chapter.
Tiffany Bain, GMC's junior college senior vice president, says since 2020, in-person enrollment at the Warner Robins campus greatly declined, which forced the decision.
Students are asking for more flexibility. They're asking for their education to fit more naturally into the other parts of their lives, whether it be working or family care, and we want to be proactive in that way and meet students' needs where they are.
Bain says they made the decision in January and classes finished at the end of the spring term. She says they intend to serve Houston County in other ways with dual enrollment in high schools and online classes. With GMC leaving, some people worry about what will happen to the Native Plant Education Center on the property.
Well, I was frustrated and angry. It's a resource. It's a community resource.
The center was partnered with GMC, allowing them to use the property. Eleanor Freeman, the center's horticulturist, says they will close at the end of the month.
But it's not that I feel like we're being kicked out or that the city doesn't want us here. It's just this is the city's property, and the partnerships, once they're dissolving, we can't just stay here as an individual.
The campus is on Prince Street. City spokeswoman Mandy Stella says they've not made any decision on the future of the property. In Warner Robins, Elizabeth Hunter, 13 WMAZ News.
Now, Bain says their lease runs through September. The city of Warner Robins sent us a statement saying, as you heard Elizabeth say, the property will be returned to the local tax base, but they didn't provide any details. And 9 schools across the Houston County School District will see price increases for meals this school year. Education reporter Sarah Grosh spoke with the district official about the increase.
The 9 schools impacted already had to pay for meals. The new cost of student breakfast will be $2.25, and the new cost for lunch will be $3.25. The district director of school nutrition, Meredith Potter, says they want free meals across the district. But right now, not all schools qualify for the federal program offering free school meals.
We started to implement community eligibility provision back in 2010, and we had 10 schools. Since we have added several, and now we have a total of 31 sites that qualify, and we will continue to follow this process.
The federal community eligibility provision looks at demographics like household income to determine eligibility. That's why Houston County resident Jonathan Johnson thinks that bringing in low-income housing can be helpful.
And you bring all different types of communities in. I believe we all can win in that situation.
At these 9 schools, families who already qualify through federal aid programs like SNAP will likely get approved, but anybody can apply for free meals.
We want families to know that if they have kids enrolled in one of these 9 schools, they do still have options to apply for free meal benefits.
Potter also shared that the district staff can help assist families with the application. In Houston County, Sarah Grosh, 13 WMAZ News.
Now we want to give you a list of the schools impacted, so listen clearly. They're Mossy Creek Middle School, Houston County High School, Kings Chapel Elementary, Veterans High, MacArthur Primary and Elementary, and Bonaire Primary, Elementary, and Middle Schools. Still ahead on the Robbins Regional Wrap, some of you were able to get some free health screenings this week. We'll tell you about an event that'll help people get more in the future. Welcome back. From fresh ink to meaningful artwork, the Southern Tattoo Expo in Perry helped artists connect with the public. But for some, their work goes far beyond the tattoo chair. Amanda Allen shows us how some artists say they're expanding their craft.
This is Tommy Jackson, and he's owned a tattoo business for 6 years now.
I've always been around tattoos, and I woke up one day, I'm like, you know what, I want to try this.
But as more artists enter the field, the tattoo talent has become more competitive. The industry has grown from $1.1 billion to $1.3 billion nationwide in the last 5 years, according to Forbes.
I think it's just a lot easier industry to get into than it used to be. That's why it's growing so much.
And some artists say the trade is tough enough without the competition.
Tattoo artists say depending on the size and detail of a tattoo, you could spend 10 minutes to multiple hours on one of these tables.
So, instead of just using pen and ink, some tattoo shop owners have etched some more methods to keep their business permanent. This includes selling artwork they create before the pen meets the skin and adding piercings to their list of services. Jackson's done just that.
I was like, well, you know, maybe if tattoos slow down, I can do some piercings and make up for what I'm not making in tattoos.
And with extra services comes extra exposure. And organizers of the Southern Tattoo Expo say that's what artists need.
We're able to give them more notoriety and associate them with something bigger than themselves and to get their content out there in a way that they may not have been able to on their own.
And Jackson says he's seen these effects firsthand.
I still have people that I tattooed last year that follow and share and like my stuff in their area, and they might be 2 or 3 hours from here.
And Jackson hopes more exposure will continue to keep his business permanent and for any new tattoo talent he may see.
Man, if this is your dream, go for it. We don't live at one time.
In Perry, Amanda Allen, 13 WMAZ News.
As the industry continues to grow and evolve, Expo organizers are planning to reach more states so the artists can grow alongside it. Turning to some health news now, we know there are many diseases that don't show warning signs until it's too late. The Houston County Health Department is trying to make preventative care easier to access with its new Wellness on Wheels experience. Their mobile health fair offers blood pressure checks, hearing screenings, CPR training, blood donations, and more. Health officials say the goal is to remove barriers to care and help people catch health problems before symptoms appear. They say adults should monitor their heart health, mental wellness, and physical well-being. Most of these screenings take about 5 minutes, and it's all about bringing the doctor's office to you free of charge.
We can catch things early and intervene early before small things become big problems. So it's very important. We know that healthcare is expensive, that it can be hard to access healthcare for many of us and most of us.
Houston County health officials say they plan to continue their Wellness on Wheels to let more people access these free health services. And your taste in music could be connected to Perry's Bites and Beats Festival this year. The city is gearing up for the first-time festival, and some city workers have already added their songs to the festival's official playlist. You can find it on Spotify to see what folks like Mayor Randall Walker and others are contributing. Then you can add your song suggestions with a link on the City of Perry's Facebook page. They'll update the playlist all summer long. Still ahead, what's happening across the Robbins region? We'll preview some upcoming events after the break. Alrighty, before we let you go, let's go ahead and take a look at what's happening across the Robbins region. You can experience a legendary military aircraft up close and personal. The Museum of Aviation in Warner Robins announced C-130 experience tours, and if you haven't made it out to one yet, just know this is the longest continuously operating aircraft in the U.S. Air Force history. Right now, Robins Air Force Base repairs, modifies, and manages these fleets, and you can go ahead and check one out across several experiences. Here they are on your screen. Check them out either July 18th, August 1st and 22nd, or September 12th or 26th. Plus, for all the animal lovers out there, we are coming up on National Adoption Week. From July 20th through the 26th, PetSmart is inviting you to stop by their location and celebrate by finding a new pet for your family. They have plenty of different animal options, from dogs, cats, small mammals, reptiles, even some fish you can check out. Stop by their location on Watson Boulevard all week long. Again, that's from the 20th through the 26th. Plus, mark this fun end of summer event on your calendar. It's happening next week. The annual Splash and Bash returns to Creekwood Park. It's happening July 25th from 10 in the morning until noon. There's going to be things like inflatables, water slides, plus a splash pad that you can enjoy. Make sure you bring all your comfortable waterproof clothing as well as a towel. Alrighty, that's what's happening around the Robbins region this week. Don't forget, if you have a Houston County story you want to share with us, go ahead and email us at news@13wmaz.com. Make sure you keep coming back each and every Friday for all the Houston County news and the stories that matter to you. Thanks for joining us.